Hello everyone, it's Kathya here. Thanks for stopping by to spend some time with me. Today I'm going to show you how to make a fun summer card using this sunglasses SVG cut file that I created. Now recently I reached a 5,000 subscriber milestone on YouTube, and since then I've met some really neat crafty friends along the way, and today I'm collaborating with Amber Rain Davis. Amber is crazy talented and has gorgeous posts all over Instagram. Now, Amber also has a YouTube channel, and after you watch this video, hop on over to her channel to see what gorgeous creations she's making. The link to Amber's channel is in the description box below. Okay, so on to my card. I have so many 6x6 paper pads, and this one from Echo Park does not disappoint, and it's got lots of summer-themed pattern paper in here, so I decided to use this one right here. Now, on the Avery.com website, I also made these back of the card labels just for all the cards that I have. I just thought that was a little bit easier and quicker sometimes when you don't have a stamp to do that. And if you want me to show you how I made those, let me know in the comments in the description box below, and I would be happy to show you guys how I did that. So here I am using some mirrored vinyl, and that's that silver piece there, and then 4 cuts of the actual sunglasses frames themselves. And I'm going to be putting this on a landscape card as opposed to portrait. I'm also going to be using this little lips stamp by Stampabilities. I think I picked this up at Joann's or Hobby Lobby, can't remember. And then I'm also going to be using one of my favorite glues that I keep in a glass there, so that it's the glue is always at the tip of the nozzle there. Okay, so I'm going to start off first by putting the label on the back, because usually if I don't do it at this point, I will forget. So these are cute. You can pick lots of different patterns and do lots of different fonts, and it's really fun to add a personal touch to the back of your card so that people know that you made it. Mine are off center, but I've learned how to adjust the horizontal and the vertical adjustment on that program, which is extremely easy to use. So I can show you guys how to do that if you let me know in the description or in the comment section below. I'd be happy to do that. Okay, so here I am, and I'm going to be layering all of these glasses frames together. And normally you guys know that I like to use that trick where you sandwich 2 pieces of thinner cardstock together and then cut. But because I have a Brothers Scan and Cut, I did not want to get the blade of my machine to get stuck in the glue. So I just went and did the straight cuts just with paper, just to make it easy. And since they're exactly the same size, they're identical, they layered up very nicely together. And using liquid glue allowed me to get each one of them layered on top of each other just precisely, and because I had a little bit of wiggle room with the wet glue. So rather than bore you, watch me adhere all the rest of the 2 layers together. I just did that off camera so I wouldn't have to put you guys to sleep. Any case, all of them are layered together, and then the mirrored cardstock that you see here is actually vinyl basically, and it does have a sticky back on it. But here is the fun part, is I designed a layer here where these 2 are already adhered together, so when you cut them, all you need to do is put a score line right down the middle. So when I was first thinking about doing this card, I was going to peel that layer of the adhesive on the back and then adhere it to the top portion of the folded frames that you see right in front of me in the white. But then I thought, why don't I just leave this, because it does have a paper backing, and I was going to put that white piece right there that you see off to the top right hand portion of the screen that I had cut out from that white cardstock. And then I thought, well, you know what, the backing of the lenses is paper anyway. I'm just going to leave that on there to make it easy for myself, because you know when you put adhesive down on certain things, you got to get it just right, otherwise it's not going to align. And I just used liquid glue to make it easy for myself, and it adhered perfectly, and then I was able to align it perfectly because I was using liquid glue, which of course allows you a little bit of wiggle room. So I put the liquid glue on the lens frames like I'm doing here on the white. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to show you something really fun that I do at the very end, which is going to kind of make you giggle. At least it made me giggle, and I really love this. Anyway, so I put the liquid glue on the frames, and I figured this would be easier than me putting a thin bead around the vinyl cut piece with the mirrored look. This is just easier, than I know it goes right here. Incidentally, I'm showing you this because I actually have a piece of release paper with a glue dot on the bottom, and I just keep that glue turned upside down in a jar. That way the glue is always at the tip, easily able to come out, and it doesn't stick to my glass and leave a sticky mess. Okay, so I have the lenses now. It's starting to come together. And I will warn you, you get some really scary shots of me in there, like, oh, don't look too close, don't freeze frame. Anyway, so I have the mirrored lenses down now, and here I have put some sticky back adhesive on the back of the frames. And rather than have you watch me peel every ounce of this tape off, because you know that's really fun, only it's not, I'm just going to do that off camera, and so you don't have to be bored watching me do the entire thing. Okay, and through the magic of editing, you watched me pull that last piece of adhesive off. This is where it gets tricky. I wanted to make sure that I put those on there just so that they align directly on top of that mirrored vinyl, and it turned out perfect. I had a little bit over edge on the part of the glasses, but I think they turned out great. And then I'm going to just really smooth it down with this bone folder. And this one is a really comfortable ergonomic bone folder, and I've found it to just work just as beautiful as the higher priced one, and it comes with two. Okay, and you got to see my mug there again, so please do not freeze frame. I have no makeup on. Holy cow, I hate looking back at this. Anyway, I did not use that white piece there on the back. I figured white underneath is fine, and nobody's going to sit there and flip it up and keep looking at the underside of it. We are all our worst critics, right? So when we look back at stuff, we're like, okay, why did I do that? Why did I make that so hard? In any case, so you can see this yellow piece here that I wanted to put on each side of this blue card panel. I wanted that yellow to be on each side to kind of tie in and incorporate the color of the sunglasses. But naturally, I made everything too easy or too hard for myself. What I should have done was taken a really thick piece of cardstock and trimmed it down. It would have been so much easier to work with. But why did I do this? I just, like to make things hard for myself. Anyway, I'm just sharing my struggles, just so that you card makers know, if you're new to this whole game, um, you know, seasoned card makers like me. I was almost going to say old, but I'm kind of young at heart, I think. Anyway, us seasoned card makers always make mistakes. And I make my fair share, and I will leave them in the video to show you the trials and tribulations of doing this as well, too. So I am putting down more adhesive on the back of this panel right here, because this is going to be right at the top there, and then I'm going to snip off those yellow pieces. And there was me just double checking to make sure I did not put this on upside down, because who's done that before? Me, several times, more times than I can count. Okay, so here it is, attached all nicely. I'm going to now flip this over, and I'm going to trim off those yellow pieces that are sticking out. Incidentally, I always find it easier to leave those pieces longer than you expect, because sometimes when you're making cards, they don't always align properly if you cut them right at the exact same spot that they are supposed to be. And this just makes it easier, and it's nice and clean with the nice clean edges there. So I'm going to be putting my sunglasses down at an angle, and I thought that this little sentiment here, Hello Sunshine, from this stamp called Creative Expressions, and I think it's called Tropical Island, and I really love it. I have not even used it yet. Shame on me. I've got to start using my stamps instead of keep buying and looking at them in awe and then not doing anything with them. Who's guilty of that? I know I am, especially during this time right now. Anyway, I decided to put that sentiment right on the inside of this card panel, and I decided to put it in my stamp positioner because I'd worked so hard to get that card panel on the front done just so, and I figured I didn't want to mess this up. So I'm going to be pulling off this stamp set, and then I'm going to be using a Catherine Pooler ink from one of the collections that I just bought from her. Her inks really are by far the best. They're super juicy. Usually I just have to stamp just once to get a really nice clean impression. That is if they're completely inked and have nice juicy ink pads on them. So this color I'm using is called All That Jazz. Now, photopolymer stamps, when they come out of the manufacturing plant, usually have a filmy residue on them, which doesn't allow for a nice clean impression. So I'm just taking a mono rubber eraser here. I think it said something like a plastic eraser. This is really by far my favorite eraser. It doesn't leave any smudges and it's really nice. It also works well as a stamp conditioner. So you can see right now that this stamp is a little bit cloudy, which means that it's going to take that ink on for the very first time beautifully. And I'm so happy with how this turned out. A couple little dabs of the ink, press it down with my stamp platform, just wanting to make sure that that paper is tucked in the corner, so if I have to stamp it again, it's in alignment. So push that down there, lift it up, and oh my gosh, first time perfect, so I left it as is. Next, off to the left there, you see those lips stamp. I'm going to put that right next to the word sunshine on the right using Catherine Pooler's Samba ink. Now, this is a bright one as well, too, and I haven't used it yet, nor have I used this stamp yet. Probably would have been a good idea for me to condition this as well with that rubber stamp or rubber eraser, but I did not do that. But I'm going to go with it, and it turns out okay. And you'll see that the lips have lots of lines in them, so I didn't worry because it kind of looks generic anyway. And when you stamp and everything, make sure that you take a moment to let that ink saturate into the paper. In other words, don't be so quick to put the stamp down and lift it right up. Give it a chance to have that ink soak into the paper. I find that I get better results when I do that. So there, off to the right, you see that I didn't get all of that ink there, but I'm totally okay with it because if someone were to have kissed this, you probably would have gotten something similar to that anyway, right? So now I'm putting in a piece of scrap cardstock there because that ink is wet and I don't want it to transfer to the top portion of the card. So now I'm putting liquid glue on the back of the flip top. Let's call these flip top glasses, okay? Easy, not flip flops, but flip top, because they flip up. And I am adhering that to the top panel of my card front. So now those go up. And wait till you see what I do. You probably have an idea what I'm going to do, but just stick with me to the end because it's kind of cute. Here you go. I am putting on false eyelashes. Yep, these are from Dollar Tree. I don't use these. I actually use the eyelashes that have liquid magnetic eyeliner and use magnetic eyelashes. I find that to be a lot easier to put on my eyes, but okay, this isn't a makeup tutorial. Hello, Kathya, get back to the program. I'm actually going to spend some time trying to show you how I cut open a box. I mean, like, seriously, could it be that difficult? Anyway, these eyelashes already have a sticky adhesive on the back. So all I'm going to do is take these tweezers here that I bought off of Amazon, and I really love them because they're kind of long, and I need that for my dexterity. I'm going to peel these off as quickly and as gently as I can, not quickly, but gently. And I'm going to put them right here. I thought it would be just fun to have a little kind of unexpected touch of putting these eyelashes here. I don't know, what do you guys think? Kind of goofy, but I'm sorry, but it's kind of unexpected and I kind of love it. And when you flip them down, of course you can't hear this because I've edited out the sound, but when you flip them down and you flip them back up, you can actually hear the tips of the eyelashes because they curl and they hit the paper and it's kind of fluffy sounding. It's kind of cool. Anyway, this is a total girly card, so I'm going to send it off to one of my girlfriends because I think she'll get a kick out of it. But this part here was a little bit difficult, and I tried to make them as perfect as I could to match each other, but that glue was really, really strong, so I just figured, okay, good enough. She probably needs some more eyelashes there, needs a fill. Anyway, if you don't have eyelashes, you can certainly, draw them in yourself or do eyeliner, that kind of thing. I might go back and put eyeliner on them too, not sure. Anyway, I found sequins to match the lenses, and I felt like the card panel on the front needed just a little extra something. And these yellow ones that I had in my stash, there were some that had some iridescence to them, so I put those on the top just to kind of make your eye travel around instead of just looking at the glasses. So I adhered some of those down, and my trick for doing these as easy and painless as possible is to put a bead of glue down first on a piece of scratch paper, and then to take your sequins and grab them as easily as you can. So some of mine were stuck together, and then to just swipe it in a little bit of the glue and then put it down. When I've done it in the past and I put glue down on my project, sometimes I do that, but sometimes I don't. And in this case, I really wanted them to stick really nicely, but I didn't want to put a heap of glue on those clouds. I didn't want this glue to show through. And I just felt like this was a little bit easier for me because my glue is a little bit on the dry side because I've used it so much. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure that I did not get blobs of glue anywhere, and that this was my fast way to do it without wasting a lot of glue. So here are my sequins. My card is done. Flipping up, seeing those cool lashes. Opening up the card, and hello sunshine with the kiss on the inside. That is my card for today. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below if you would ever try something like this by putting lashes or something unexpected on your card. What have you done? Have you ever done something super unexpected on a card panel besides drops and sequins, all that kind of fun stuff? This was a little out of the ordinary for me, but I think it turned out fun, and I think the recipient's going to get a kick out of it. Okay, next up is Amber. Don't forget to go to her channel, which is again in the description box below. There's a link to her channel and all her fun stuff. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great day, and ciao for now. See you next time.